Well, you'll be glad you saw this. Has CNN stepped on a landmine with the Trump administration? Because you're about to see Tom Homan completely rip the network to shreds for rerunning an edited clip of him that tries to implicate the border czar in some sort of quid pro quo with the New York mayor for support over immigration law enforcement. Watch this for yourself before I tell you what's really going on.
I mean, that's a pretty direct message, sir, that Adam needs to play ball when it comes to immigration.
Well, finish playing the tape. There's more to that tape. This is two cops talking. We're talking cop. I mean, once you're a cop, you never lose that language. We had a great time in the meeting before, busting at each other. That was a joke. And if you play the tape further, he laughs, immediate response. Well, I'm gonna hold you accountable too. I'll hold ICE accountable. Get what they did done. I'm telling him I need you to come through on your promise. He responds to me that I need to come through on mine. So this is a conversation between two cops having a good time.
What is your promise?
And people are making a lot out of nothing.
What is your promise, sir?
My promise is I'm not going to ask those officers to be immigration officers. I'm not going to push them to enforce immigration law. I told them I want to arrest the bad guy. I want to arrest the public safety threats. I want to get Rikers Island so we can get the public safety threat before they're released to the street. I want his help, especially the NYPD intelligence unit, who's the finest intelligence apparatus in the world, to help me find missing children. They have problem. Many are in forced labor. Many are going to be in forced sex trafficking. Not all of them, but many of them. And that's a promise I made to him. Do you do law enforcement stuff? Help me get the public safety threats into children. I'm never going to ask you to arrest an illegal alien, and that is my promise. Not to make them immigration officers, but make them cops working with cops.
Can we just get one thing out of the way? How on earth are CNN and Dana Bash trying to imply some sort of mutual benefit when the demand that border czar Tom Homan is making from the New York mayor is simply to follow federal law on immigration under a president that got a public mandate for precisely that reason? Does she not understand what quid pro quo even means? Probably not. And by the way, we demolish these mainstream media lies like no one else can, so be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to become part of the conversation. Now, just for the record, I want you to watch the full context of what Tom Homan and Eric Adams said to each other on this Fox and Friends panel just a few days prior, and you realize how the issue of immigration is put front and center for a place like New York that has borne the brunt of the immigration crisis, being a sanctuary city in itself.
You are sitting today talking about the new alliance between ICE and Adams. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. Alliance was never severe.
Yeah, and if he doesn't come through,
you're up early anyway.
If he doesn't come through, I'll be back in New York City, and we won't be sitting on the couch. I'll be in his office, up his butt, saying, "Where the hell is the agreement we came to?" So,
I want ICE to deliver, and I want ICE to deliver. We're going to deliver for the safety of the people of this city. Let's focus on every American and New Yorker should have the right to have an opportunity and survive in this city.
We're going to hold you to that.
American first. Thank you, Tom. You're doing a fantastic job.
Thank
you, Mr.
Thank you, guys.
Imagine how much you'd need to extrapolate from the single sentence to end up with what CNN is making it out to be. There are nearly 600,000 illegal immigrants in the city of New York alone, and that's a figure at least 7 years old. And this single city has been a swell of nearly 200,000 more under the Biden administration. So the idea that CNN or the left think a mayor finally working with the federal government to do something about this crisis could only be in exchange for personal benefits, well, it just shows you the sheer disconnect that plagues the Democrat mindset at the moment. Working with the federal government over one of the core issues that brought them to power is not an exception. It should be the norm. And New York sanctuary city policies for the longest time have been an impediment to that, even through polling data showing again and again that Americans want a stronger immigration policy.
ICE is doing a great job. I'm not happy with the numbers because we got a lot of criminals to find. So what we're talking about right now, we're increasing the number of teams, increase the targeting, the division of ICE that creates a target list of, finding who these people are, what their criminal history is, and where we're most likely to find him. We got to increase the targeting production. So we're doing that now. We're increasing the targeting. We're increasing the teams out there in the field. And finally, I'll be honest with you, sanctuary cities are causing us a lot of work. And rather than arresting a bad guy in Rikers Island, we have to go to the neighborhood and find them, find people that don't want to be found. It is hard because rather than one man arresting one bad guy in a jail, we got to send a whole team to the field to find somebody that doesn't want to be found.
Could you believe that? What more evidence do you need for the token pro-immigration stance that the modern Democratic Party took that ICE hasn't even been allowed access to an island prison like Rikers Island to process actual convicts? I mean, I thought most of the left was okay with starting from criminals. The point is, the shift in mindset in New York's Mayor Eric Adams or any among their population is nothing new. Eric Adams himself had been saying the same thing for nearly 2 years at this point and imploring on the left-wing state and federal administration to do something about the sanctuary city policies that are putting New York City on the front lines of the illegal immigration crisis. Watch this clip from all the way back in 2023 and you realize exactly what Eric Adams had been saying for 2 years, despite the fact that no one was listening.
110,000 migrants. We have to feed, clothe, house, educate the children, wash their laundry sheets, give them everything they need, health care. And this team here, we stated, let's do everything possible before we have to push it out into neighborhoods and communities. Month after month, I stood up and I said, this is going to come to a neighborhood near you. Well, we're here. We're here. We're getting no support on this national crisis, and we're receiving no support. And let me tell you something, New Yorkers. Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. One time we were just getting Venezuela. Now we're getting Ecuador. Now we're getting Russian-speaking coming through Mexico. Now we're getting Western Africa. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City. And everyone is saying it's New York City's problem.
You see how old this problem runs for the city? Remember, New York City taxpayers just a month ago were rocked by the news that thousands of illegal migrants were being housed in 4- and 5-star luxury hotels, including the Roosevelt Hotel. Elon Musk and Doge discovered earlier this month that $59 million had been spent in a single week by New York City alone to house illegal migrants coming to the city. And all that has happened in New York City, where housing and rent for the average citizen are almost unaffordable, as well as a chronic shortage of units plaguing the system. And all of that crisis is nothing new because it has been brewing for several years now. The only thing that is new, it's a federal government that's willing to do something about it. And maybe that's why it's so easy for Tom Homan to demolish the dangerous half-truths coming from the mainstream media, because his entire career, well, it revolves around the border and illegal immigration crisis, and nothing flies past him that easily. But let me know in the comments if you agree, because I think that it is just the beginning of the major political shift on the illegal immigration crisis that we've seen after the first month of the Trump presidency.